Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
This is where the PRC imposes the fine. It says for failure to comply with the 3-day statutory notice required under Regulation 39 of LI 2413, the Commission, in accordance with Regulation 45 of LI 2413, hereby imposes a regulatory charge of 3,000 penalty units on ECG for each of the 163 breaches, amounting to 5,860,000 Ghana cedis. The Commission has determined that, having regard to the nature of ECG's ownership and business, the imposition of the penalty of 5,860,000 Ghana cedis will be counterproductive, as payment from ECG's revenue would have a rebounding adverse effect on quality of service and consumers who pay tariffs to the company. For that reason, in the interest of justice and to protect the interests of consumers, the Commission shall hold the board members of ECG who were in office between 1st January to 18th March 2024 liable for the payment of the 5,860,000 Ghana cedis. These board members were at all material times responsible for providing strategic direction to ensure the provision of safe, adequate, efficient, reasonable, and non-discriminatory service to consumers. And that board that they are talking about is a board that was led by Kelly Gajakpo, who left office. But still, they say they have to find that money and pay.
Which punishment is sweet? If you are telling me that by imposing that fine on ECG, it will affect their financial position. Punishments are not given to satisfy anybody. It is to let you feel the pain. You understand? The institution must pay. You are not going to chase Kaligajipo to bring you money. How much was he being paid there for him to be able to pay this?
You see, thank you. So we're talking about new developments within the power sector. In fact, this week, like I said, a lot of things have happened. Dumso is intensifying. The PRC has fined ECG. ECG says no, and makes an argument for why they should not be fined and why PRC should reverse the fine that they've imposed on them. Like I also said, the Ashanti regional minister got the Ashanti East regional ECG general manager arrested. There's the Ashanti who is now proposing the privatization of the various chains within the sector. Then there's the relocation of what used to be a Mary power plant, now Kumasi 1 TTP. Nana, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Let me say good morning to your viewers and good morning to my brothers in the studio. Somebody told me Solo has never been a member of the New Patriotic Party.
Who is that? Solo that be Mumra movement. Unim kasa say kasa movement. Esun akotene esun so fe you ahwe say na movement.
They said he's not a member of the.
You are so eloquent. You born and sat on an elephant. Umbra movement. You falling from 10 feet.
I'll start with the regional minister, then go to Tunfor. Then what else? The minister Tunfor.
Okay, so the PRC too.
That'll be the last one now.
Okay.
So Tunfor,
the relocation of the Mary power plant.
The relocation of the Mary power plant. You see, the minister, I don't really. It's possible maybe he had a problem with the disconnector, because you see the ECG disconnectors, they have a list that they work with, and once management gives them the list, they go around disconnecting. I found out what actually happened, and they said they went to the school severally and gave them a notice of disconnection, but they did not adhere to it. I don't know if in Ashanti region, the minister, the regional Secretariat has anything to do with payment of bills for schools. Because I thought payments were centralized by governments. So I don't know why you should arrest the disconnector. Because I heard the minister had a meeting with the Kumasi East manager. And they agreed that they were not going to disconnect educational institutions. There is an LI which does not allow ECG to disconnect critical institutions. In that same LI, it even says that if there's somebody in an area who has a disease like diabetes and has to store their medicines in the refrigerator, you don't have to put the area off. Or you relocate the person onto another feeder. So all these provisions are there. So I don't know why the minister did that. I mean, for me, it is out of place. He is not a commando. He's not supposed to be doing that. It's an arrogance of power that has to be checked. It is some form of, the word is not coming. I would say that you only do that when you are not a gentleman. You don't have, you are not polished, because yes, you don't have to just go arrest somebody without going back. That's the word I don't want to use. Without going back to the person who is actually. It can be. Mental health is with everybody. We don't get serious about. And I was even to talk about that. I think that everybody who takes the position from the presidency down should be checked. Their brain should be checked before they are given the position. But the constitution says that the person should have good mental health, should be in the right frame of mind. So I think
clearly, some people in this government.
So I don't think he did right. But I think we should also allow our laws and institutions to work. And we should also be responsible to pay our bills. But when it comes to the government institution, we all know the central government is the one that gives the funding for some of these bills to be paid. So he erred. The next one is Otumfuo, isn't it? And the recommissioning. I believe Otumfuo said that out of his own frustrations. And most Ghanaians would say that. But I disagree with him, because you cannot hand over your transmission lines, your generation stations to foreigners. That's a national security issue. Because if you get up one day and our transmission lines are overtaken, some our generation stations are compromised. Yes, Asogli is here, but our eyes are on Asogli. But to give everything complete, for nothing at all, we have a backup of VRE. That in case today Asogli gets up and says, or Aska or Mary or any one of them gets up and says they are leaving, we have our dams, we have our generation plants that is in the hands of VRE. And I believe that we can do it. I don't know why we always want to look elsewhere. Government has to be responsible. It is the irresponsibility of this government that is why we are here. Because there is enough capacity. They have even said there's excess capacity. That is, Excellency John Dramani Mahama did a lot in the energy sector. It's unfortunate it is not being said explicitly. Most times it becomes problematic because the NDC is not able to articulate the good things that they did as a government. And in the energy sector, they stopped doing so. And I don't hear them saying it with passion. They always say it on the periphery. And I believe the time has come for them to talk about some of these things with a lot of good articulation and passion. Because it is clear by all indications and from what I do know that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, at the time he was leaving office, Dumso was no more. And you see, if you have a problem with Dumso, and it's a capacity problem, then you have a big problem. But if you are unable to solve a financial problem, then it means you are inefficient. because the MPP's problem is a financial problem. Somebody has worked for you, giving you the machines and everything. Why then do you say that you are going back into doom so? Because even if it's a technical problem, you have to resolve it with money. If it is a generation problem, you have to resolve it with money. So I do not understand why it is like this, because they've been incompetent, inefficient, and it's as if they don't have a clue. They are just lost because they've put square pegs in round holes. In the energy sector, you need to put in place people who know what to do, who know how to manage the system. I was a bit mortified when I found out that part of the cash waterfall money has landed in the Ministry of Finance. 200 million. Collections in the sector are done by ECG. So to find 200 million in the Ministry of Finance, I was like, how did they get there? And this is what we are talking about. You see, this government has the penchant to grab everything into their fold. We don't even know what they use the money for. I mean, we don't even know. We don't have a clue. I don't even want to go there. So, relocation of Ameri. For me, I've heard so many things about the name being changed and it's problematic and all that. I don't think anybody should waste their time talking about name, because it's a convention. What is annoying is the way MPP used the Ameri power plant as a bait to get NDC out of power. Said all manner of things. Told Ghanaians a lot of lies. And today, they have placed it in Ashanti region. For me, if it's in Ashanti region, it is good. I won't speak against it. That is my region. And it's the biggest region in this country. The issue is that are they going to get money to fuel it? And we should be careful it does not turn into a white elephant, as they have turned into. Redundant, moribund, that it cannot be used. It is a great thing that it is there. The Ashantis should recognize that that plant in its embodiment was brought into this country by the NDC. And that if the NDC did not bring it, they wouldn't have had it today. If His Excellency John Dramani Mahama hadn't brought that plant, Ashanti wouldn't have had it today. So somebody should be credited for bringing the plant. And it is His Excellency John Dramani Mahama under his government that he brought the plant. And now it is benefiting the people of Ashanti. You see, the name does not matter. Today, I went to Kumasi for a funeral on Thursday. They still call it Ameri. They came whatever. Nobody is calling it. They say Ameri Abba Kumasi. After even the change of name. The change of name because Ameri was decommissioned in 2020. It's a BOT, a build, operate and transfer plant. And that is now gone into the ownership of VRA. So as it has gone into ownership, because a 5-year contract was signed for Ameri to operate, after which they hand over the plant to the VRA. So once it goes into the hand of VRA, VRA certainly would have to change the name. They did it with the Pong thermal plant, which was for the Norwegians. They changed the name. So certainly that one, I don't think we should politicize. It is the norm, it's the convention. But what is missing in this whole thing? I thought that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo would invite His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to be with him in Kumasi at the commissioning of the plant. The plant was decommissioned, so it is just right that it has to be commissioned into the grid because they need to get their energy charge and their capacity charge. As it stands, their tariff is not in the tariff that we are paying. So there should a concession should be made for their tariff to be in there. And if you are not commissioned, you cannot get your tariff because there will be no evidence to that. So now it has been done. The most important aspect is that it should work. It should not be a political tool, a gimmick. You see, one thing that made me happy was that His Excellency Nana Addo accepted that there are challenges and Ghanaians should bear with them. And that is the truth. But all this time, I'm surprised that he has not been able to come out to say that we have failed. We have erred. Sana, you see, practically, there's nothing wrong with doing so. When it hits you, you get me? But because the way that the MPP used it as a political tool to get the NDC out of power, all of us who are even public service bore the brunt of it. I lost my job at PRC because they said I was defending Dumso. I was defending government. I was doing things that was preventing them to use the Dumso as a political tool. And that is why it is like this. Because they used it very well. They used it to the point that it became raw and sore to get the NDC out of power. Some of the things were not even true. There were times that localized faults were described as Dumso. There were times that areas could go off for 3 days, which was not Dumso, because technically Dumso was 12 hours a day. But areas were going off where nobody was looking, areas were going off for 3 days, 4 days. So that is the reason why. And I believe at that time, Solo 2 was really hammering on it, that MDC has brought Dumso. I also want to say that not one particular person brought Dumso. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama did not bring Dumso, but he ended it. Dumso started from Rawlins's time, and it's out of Dumso that PURC even came into being. Dumso hits His Excellency J. Kufuor, and out of it they brought the 8 megawatt mine reserve plant, which didn't even work. And I remember Kwesi Prattman saying that they have brought some toys. So Dumso has been with everybody, but for some reason it got worse under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. But he solved it. Whether they like it or not, he did solve it, and I will not stop saying it. Let them call me whatever names that they want, because I was there. When car power landed on the shores of this nation, Dumso ended. And we should all understand that he solved it. And I think that we should give credit where credit is due. Now we come to PURC. I don't know the noises about PURC. PURC has been quiet for some time. There was a duct tape across their lips. They could not speak because the president was dealing with the utility ECG without talking to the regulator. For a president to be successful in the energy sector with electricity, you need to talk to your regulator and your minister. You see, government is the owner of the utilities, so you need to talk to you being the owner. Your regulator is the independent one in the midst of it. You need to get information. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I remember His Excellency Atta Mills always spoke to us, but not us to give us instructions. But when they didn't understand certain things, I remember we have meetings, and the utilities will ask that they need, especially VI, they need some cargoes of crude oil. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will toss the thing to the PURC and say that interrogate it to see if it is true. They really need what they are asking for. before they go ahead to get money to buy the cargoes. So if you are in the sector and you are not dealing with your regulator, but you are treating your regulator anyhow, then it means that your utilities too will treat your regulator anyhow. The law Act 538 says without any reasonable doubt that the regulator is an advisor to the president on electricity matters. I hear people talking about, oh, they are in the sector together, they are bedfellows. No, they are not in the sector together. PURC also regulates water. They are not equal, they are not friends. It is unfortunate the one who has to do what he has to do for the sector to run is being intimidated somewhat. So they are not able to come out. In the release that PURC brought, they said categorically that they are fining the board members because of the structure and ownership of the ECG, the ownership structure of the ECG. And that is why they are fining them directly. If we want to go and find out, we need to find out the ownership structure. How does it sit? That is giving the PURC the opportunity to do what? To fine the board members. But for me, whatever the action is, it is good. Because this government has taken everybody for granted. They have taken everybody for a ride. They don't even really care whether your light goes off, whether your business is running good, whether you have lights to operate. They don't care. And sometimes they lie so badly, they call it doom CAC, putting it off to maintain the system. Do you get me? But doom CAC does not posit the way it's going on because they don't want to bring a load shedding schedule. Instead of taking the light off at the feeder, they rather take it off at the bulk supply point. So in that big space, there are so many critical institutions that cannot be taken out. Tema General Hospital. We had that incident because light was taken from the DSP. Bulk. And when you do that, you are not able to identify from Gridco. Gridco does not deal with the customer. Gridco doesn't know the customer. Gridco doesn't know where customers are located. We have contracts and arrangements as consumers with ECG. So ECG is the one who should share the load. So as they are sharing the load from the feeder end, they should then know that here is a hospital. So let us relocate this one onto a feeder that has lights, so that the hospital is saved from any incidents. Do you get me? But it is not done like that because they don't regard us. In those days, we had a hand in how the load was shared. And His Excellency John Dramani Mahama told us categorically that we should make sure that the lights are on in the hospitals and in the schools. So mechanisms should be put in place to do so. But this one, it is not like that. Because they don't want to accept that the lights are off. So the PURC did their own analysis and found out that even within the DUMSO, there were planned maintenance that they didn't even announce. And that one, the law says categorically that you have to announce 3 days before you do your planned maintenance. I am changing fuses. I am changing some things in my transformers. I'm changing lines. An overloaded transformer which gives me brownouts. I don't get the right kind of voltage. I have to change it because money has been provided for them in the tariff for those exercises. Then you come and tell us that the 630 transformers is causing this vast blackouts. You have 33,000 transformers within the ECG zone, but outside the ECG zone is the NETCO. And lights were going off in NETCO from the Buanhafo region to the north, to Uti, to Pandai. And lights are going off. And that is not your jurisdiction. Your transformers are not in there. So this is a total disrespect. They came to lie to us blatantly. And based on that, PURC says, I am what? Sanctioning you. The only question is, I do not know, I'm not a lawyer. And it slipped me a bit that if PURC has the capacity to, compute the 30,000 penalty units or impose it by themselves. I have to read the Act LI 2413 before it was 1651. And I think that one has been taken out and they have enhanced this one, the LI 2413. So the LI 2413, we have to know exactly what it says. Because in some jurisdictions, the regulator has the powers of a high court that they can impose some of these fines. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the commentary is too much. The disrespect is too much. Because you see, this PURC, because they have been gagged, maybe because of that they cannot move, they made them believe that they are what? They are just any ordinary institution. The PURC can decide that with this 35% losses that they are making, going against the 22 or 21 allowable losses that should be in the tariff, that is technical and commercial losses, they are taking off their tariff. They can do that to punish them. The regulator can decide not to, help them to even assist them in getting loans. Because the regulator does sometimes give recommendations here and there. They can do that. So I don't even know who is speaking to them. Somebody was saying that, but PURC reports to the president. So I said PURC reports to the president as in the scheme of things. The law, Act 538, says categorically that PURC is an independent institution and they are not to the direction or control of anybody or thing. So even the chair that they sit on, instead of sitting, they can squat. As long as they don't fall. They are not to the direction or control of anybody or thing. And it is very clear in the law. So I believe we should let institutions work. PURC has sanctioned ECG. What ECG should do is to go back, reply to the issues that was in the sanctions, because what they are doing is to not help them. They can jump, they can go, they can get all the lawyers in the world. What is wrong is wrong. And this is done in law. They are not doing it arbitrarily. They've quoted sections of the 2413. So you see, this government, we have a lawyer as a head of state or a president who does not adhere to law. Who does not see that, if there is a law that is being used to do whatever, he just rubbishes it. But this is a lawyer, it's unfortunate. We don't have a doctor, we don't have and engineers behave in that manner. But today we have a lawyer who is I know we have a lawyer. We have a lawyer who
But you have classmates.
we have a lawyer.
Take my finance certificate to school.
Oh please, we have a lawyer. Engineers behave. You see, engineers they behave as if they can create human beings. That's how they behave. They behave. Even when you are talking, they think that they know better than you. They can change things. But now we have a lawyer who is supposed to go through procedure, who is doing things anyhow. It is unfortunate. A lawyer who does not adhere to the rule of law. A lawyer is a misnomer. It is an aberration of everything that nature talks about. This is unfortunate. He should be the first person to tell ECG that, look, adhere to what PURC is saying. Let's see how we can sort it out. But he's in the middle pushing them, poking them, that the PURC answers to the presidency, and so they can't do anything. No. I want to tell His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, it is time for us to see him as a lawyer. There's too much chaos in his government. And for somebody who says he is a lawyer, an astute lawyer, a human rights lawyer, the confusion is too much. He needs to, in his last days, the grace that God has given to him, he should let us see that he is a lawyer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm looking at the LI 2413. Sanctions against public utility. That's regulation 45. Yes. Yes. Where they said where a public utility contravenes a provision of these regulations or a directive or order of the commission may impose a regulatory charge on that public utility as specified in the schedule. Okay, so without limiting sub-regulation 1 of the commission, that's this sub-regulation 2, the commission may order a public utility to pay a reasonable compensation to a consumer for the contravention. But I think the 45.1, yeah, 45.1 is what they are using. Yes. Yeah.
They can
impose, yeah.
So now they have powers like a high court. Yeah. Yes. I wanted to be sure on that one.
Thank you, Nana. Let me do a few messages. This one, let me go on Facebook first. This is Eric Kukusepan who says, Utun for suggesting for privatization of the energy sector into private hands is not the best solution. The main problem with the sector is mismanagement and corruption by political jobbers within the energy sector, especially under this current government. I will be suggesting is not indirectly pandering to UP tradition of property owning ideology, of which MPP is an offspring. Okay. There's also somebody is even suggesting that by the end of the show, there's Benjamin Edumata, Yano Mutag Nana Jantuah as NDC. She's speaking the facts. There's Eli Bimpe, okay, there's Charles Graham who says it's been proven worldwide that well-run state utilities always serve the general public. Japan, China, Germany, France are all state-owned, run and affordable to their citizens. Our lamentable situation is due to corrupt politicians and their cronies. Plain and simple. There's Anabila who says, this woman is a mother. I love her. Tell her, okay, says she's Noble from Commonwealth Hall University.
Loves her.
But why? What's the issue?
All these things, but explain.
This guy.
Just proclaim love on a Saturday morning to a lady you've never met.
Well, this is coming from Papa BC who says, says on the matter of handing over a certain government establishment to private hands, as suggested by Otumfuo, especially the energy sector, I don't think that must entirely be the case because the Akosombo Dam links to VRA, is the heart of the country, hence untouchable, same as Abuazi thermal plants and the Tuabo gas plant. They are not negotiable because the poorest of the poor in the country will greatly be disadvantaged in terms of ability to pay. I do understand Otumfuo Ashanti. He spoke out of frustration the way and manner Nana and Baumia have messed the whole country. In fact, it is really serious. A serious indictment on the governance style. Nana Baumia, it shows a vote of no confidence in that clueless regime. Papa BC, you sent that. Thank you, Papa, for sending that. Okay. I think your friend Nana Ikuyavle says I should tell you she's watching you. Good morning to her. Yes. Good morning to Koblavi of Pokwasi, Benghazi.
I'm going to use something you said this morning, so I'm just giving you the credit before I start.
Says is Dumso back? That's the question Ghanaians are asking President Kufuor and Dr. Baumia. If it is back, they should tell them. They should also give them load shedding timetable to know when they will get light and when they won't get light. Ghanaians have seen how President Kufuor's government has become so weak that they can't do anything again. Power Minister is just bragging about, but can't face the light problem. The light off is rampant these days. The Power Minister, he is the Energy Minister, must be sacked before Dumso becomes worse. This one is from Martin Kwame Sedemi. So he says, I am so much grateful to you and your production team for not listening to okay. He says, Afenyo Makin's useless diversionary press conference as one of the topics for discussion on your Aman show. The media blackout today on his presser is signal that Ghanaians are more intelligent than his political antics. Thank you very much. Musa Abato says, and let's be honest to ourselves, this government has messed up with the power sector, and they have no reason to plug this country back to doom so. GM has deliberate policy to sell power to our neighboring countries in order to generate money to support the economy. That's why he invested so much resources into power sector. But due to incompetent leadership of Akufo-Addo Bawumia, things are getting out of hand. Dennis Akwete, it is indeed sad that at this point, ECG could not give Ghanaians a timetable to plan their lives amidst persistent power outages, and yet government is busy renaming Ameri, a ceremony that could not even acknowledge the previous government. The partisan politics by this very government is monumentally incredible to the extent that it was strikingly inconceivable given the history of the Ameri power plants, that the said renaming ceremony could not acknowledge former President Mahama, let alone invite him when some former presidents were mentioned. Thank you. Azure is saying the capricious decision of the regional minister to cause the arrest of the ECG manager reminds me of let the hairs roll, comments made by the director of communication at the presidency during the tenure of Professor Mills. There's also Alhaji Hamza in Pig Farm.
So why are you talking about what you said?
Alhaji Hamza says,
Liking everything about
yes, in my humble opinion, the ECG, and for that matter, the ECG boss, has no respect for the good people of this country. I simply don't know where the ECG boss is getting his powers from. Instead of him to serve Ghanaian interests, he has rather decided to serve the interests of his paymasters. But this can only happen in Ghana. In a developing country, in a developed country, he would have been sacked by now. But truth be told, the MPP as a political party has no shame. What happened in Ameri in connection with the Ameri plant is shameful. Today, the Ameri plant has now become a game changer to solve the doomsday crisis in Kumasi. MPP as a political party cannot be trusted. Thank you for that. Prince Enrico Foridwa says, Otunfo was here when PDS created when PDS create loot and share took place, and we never heard him say anything. All we need from the MPP government led by Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia is to instruct the ECG to give us timetable, because it's hard for me to buy power and yet can't use it and won't even have the idea of when my bought power will be taken from me. As I am typing, I'm watching Alhaji and Alhaji via Facebook on my phone because there's doom in Koforidua and waiting for Saw since yesterday. Why? We need doom Saw timetable. When the wicked rule, the people, it doesn't continue. The ECG must know that it's God and that the future is pregnant. Prince Henry, thank you for that message. Abbas Amogobo is also sending us a message. He says the visionary Mahama could foresee the future power requirements of a growing country and put in place solutions to meet those needs. Ashanti region is part of a country and should be able to benefit from Mahama's visionary work. But why change the name to hide the visionary man's work? What does Akufo-Addo Bawumia achieve in his almost 8 years in power? MPP is good in stealing and deceiving Ghanaians. I hope Nana Jantuah's explanation will help with that regard, because that's the education I also got from players in the power sector. One, Ameri no longer owns the plant. The plant is a state property, so you can't continue to keep their name on the plant. So, and it's also like Nana said, it's convention. That's the way it is. So they named it Kumasi 1 TPP. So it belongs, the VRA now runs it. Let me continue. Let me read Nana and then I will come to Engineer Jantuah for saying they know what they are doing, sniffing and sharing the loot created by the states. They have never added any monumental socio-economic infrastructure to the nation's development since their formation as United Party, led by Dr. Buzia. Says, recall the incident that happened in Tema General Hospital because of doom, so babies died. It's so sad. Now in this country, if you don't have 20,000 to 30,000 for private hospital bills, then you shouldn't get any woman pregnant. With this MPP government out, bringing Otunfo in this matter isn't anything serious or bad. It is just like any king or chief fighting to get a national cake for his people. The main issue is that these MPP guys are liars and lied their way to power by destroying a visionary leader, John Mahama, which made Ghanaians sell their cow meat in exchange for dog meat infested with rabies. But this year elections won't fall for their lies, rather we'll vote them out physically and spiritually. Come what may, everyone, including even spirits, will be polling agents. Nana.
So now when my brother was talking, he said that what is the assurance that they will not interfere? The assurance is God and the people of Ghana. Ghanaians are going to vote massively against NPP. And that is what it is. And when we are voted against massively, you cannot compromise the system. You see, Senna, these people, their feet is always quick to do evil. And they always project into the future. This is a rigging mechanism. They started rigging the 2024 elections in 2017. They sat down to look at everything and said that we will want to stay in power forever. So they removed Charlotte and brought their own person. Sometimes I wonder at Jean, because you remember IEA? Yeah. All the things that she said, it is very different from the way she is acting. And nobody can tell me that some people are not complicit. Because the way EC is structured in a security manner, you can't just enter any EC office anyhow. You said when this whole thing started, I said that there is a collaboration from within. And what would be your interest in stealing the BVR machine? You can't use it for anything. Yeah. So it means somebody has asked you to steal so that they can get data to rig. And I think we should all be vigilant. We are promising MPP. They shouldn't even dare. Because we had enough of their nonsense. And we are not going to allow them. That's why I'm saying that the 2024 election, it should be fought on the level of a coalition. The way we are all standing single trying to fight it, it will not help. The NDC, the biggest opposition party, should stop sitting in their comfort zone and come out for all of us to form a big coalition. If you are forming a coalition today, it is not about this one being NDC, this one being that. It is about resisting the rule of the oppressor. And that is what our national anthem enjoins us to do. The time has come for all of us to come together as one big coalition to fight the MPP, to get out of power. Because Senna, if we do not do that, if you deal with anybody who orchestrates evil before time, then you are in trouble. Because you see, they are not easy to deal with. Everything that they do, if you are not careful, they will be a step ahead of you. So you need to be very diligent when dealing with them. Very, very diligent. And it shouldn't be just talking, oh, we will do this. We have to ensure that the right kind of systems are put in place for us to protect the ballot. That for stealing, they will try to steal. But standing on our own, my mother taught me something. My mother said that when you go into the forest and there is a storm, you see that all the trees come together. But immediately the storm settles, every tree goes into their own space. We are in a storm right now. Ghana is at the brink of collapse. You see, the only thing that gives me elation is when I see the picture behind you. The man himself was Sergeant for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He did so great for this nation. And if we have to learn from him, we should understand that Ghana should be on our hearts. And when Ghana is on our hearts, it does not matter which political party you belong to. What matters is that Ghana has to be liberated. Because these people have just finished us. They have squandered Islam. Every money that is available, they want to touch it. It is like a cat and fish. As long as they sniff money, they take it. And they don't take it for good purpose. We don't even know what they use the money for. If Esla was still around, we would not be going through this financial situation in the energy sector. And I do believe that this independent investigation the NDC is talking about, I don't know what independent, who is independent now in this nation? So which independent investigation? They have compromised all the institutions. So who is going to be independent? We should be diligent and tell ourselves that we are sending MPP out of power. That is all. We should be resolute in our spirit, in our mind, in our body, in our soul, in everything that we do, that enough is enough. This is our nation, Ghana, and we need to take it back. And we need to ensure that we do the right thing by Ghana. Ghana has been battered and suffered too much, and the people of Ghana are not having life easy. While some people, a little percentage, even the people in the MPP, some are hungry. They are in government, but they are in opposition.
5% are hungry.
About 5% of the people are just misusing our money. But
Solo couldn't take the hunger.
so Senator, for me, that is what it is. We should come together as a nation. We should come together as parties. We should come together as individuals to form one big coalition. Alan has started. We should follow suit. Everybody should learn from that. That we should all sit down as a people. It is not about who will be what, who will be what. It is about the nation Ghana. Because then tomorrow if something happens, we cannot go to Togo. We cannot go to Burkina. You don't speak French. We cannot go to Burkina Faso. You don't have a cadente. Do you get? We cannot go to Mali. Then maybe you have to settle with the sharks in the Gulf of down there. That is what we have to do. So because of that, we have to have it in our mind that enough is enough. We should tell ourselves and tell every leader in this nation that we are coming together as one body. But Sana, before I land, before I finish, I want to tell my brothers here, me and Kojo, that no matter what it is, one, we need to interrogate the 38 million relocation cost. That one, the parliament should come in, energy committee, finance committee. It is made up of both NDC and MPP. And I believe that Ameri being in Ashanti region is a good thing. Because every time there is a disturbance in the system and there is a near system collapse, the first place that is touched is Ashanti. Because you have an automatic frequency load shedding mechanism and it is located there. And the whole Ashanti will go off. Ashanti is also a populous place. It's a business place. So I don't have a problem for the machine to be relocated. And if the NDC will take advantage of this, and if they do politics like the CPP, I want to tell them that the optics is good for them. Because
38 is not one.
Because they brought the plant to this nation.
But the 38,
Thank you.
there's a relocation
Thank you.
38, and there's the whole 38.
Whatever 38 has to be
38 in the doors.
whatever 38 has to be investigated. But for me, Ashanti, if you are in Kumasi, sometimes in the house, the light can go off. Not low shedding, it goes off 3-4 times. It comes on. It means that there is even issues with voltage stabilization. As you wheel along the lines, you won't get the same quality. Okay. It is good. I mean, you can wheel, locate it somewhere and wheel and bring it.
You see, Nana,
but let me finish.
It's perfect, but I won't take it from you.
Yeah, but I am
because the technicians at VRA should be saying this. They are able to say this.
But she is perfectly.
Me, I work in the sector for 4 years.
I know.
She knows more than
No,
anybody else.
What he's saying is that this should be explanation.
Yes.
It should be coming from
but
them.
I am saying that for me, I don't want to talk too much, but speaking as a politician, let it be there. And I'm saying the optics, if well garnered, is good for the NDC.
Nana, thank you.
It's
Thank
good
you.
for.
Thank you.
The movement for change. Now you want to be revolutionary. It is good for all of us because if Ashanti is settled, 47 constituencies, business, the people, AFLS, once if there's any disturbance, Ashanti suffers.
Okay.
So let it be there. But let us interrogate
Thank
it.
you. Nana, thank you. Nana, thank you. This is from Jibril Agbesi Hamenu, who says, Senna, I agree with the mental problem assertion by Kojo. The head is rotten, but as a nation, as a people, we have lost our responsibility to chase the crazy bald heads out of town. Sadly, interestingly, Jibril himself is bald. This one says, good morning, Senna. All the NDC needs now is to mobilize the entire Ghanaian society to start a serious campaign of positive defiance. I hereby recommend specifically the use of graffiti in public spaces where there is high circulation of people. The graffiti should list all the ills of this Akufo-Addo government in graphic terms. The NDC should mobilize the services of cartoonists like mentions the name of Morau, Dunima, Kwame Nkrumah University, art students, and even Tilapia to flood everywhere with pictures of the scenes of Akufo-Addo and his government against Ghana. Thank you very much for sending that message. There's Shine Gave, who says, I agree with Nanaya Jantuah on the effective communication of the NDC communicators about the achievements of His Excellency John Mahama during his time in office. I hope they take this advice in good faith and work on it. Well, today, I understand, okay, so today is 20th, so tomorrow will be the birthday of Pamela Ekia Sena Danswa. Oh, okay. Happy birthday in advance to you. Happy birthday in advance to you. And
you see, I just want to say that when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was in government, he was hit with 15 demonstrations. Okay. 15. More was planned. Some were foiled. This government has not been hit with even one. When I was in PRC as the director for PRC, I was cartooned 20 times on Doom. Yes, on Doom. So everywhere my cartoon was there. So I agree with whoever has sent this. There should be some kind of resistance from the people. There should be a resistance because we are all quiet. Nobody is talking. There should be some. Nanado
will leave this country and then it should be a problem.
Well, tomorrow will also be the birthday of, thank you, Nana, the birthday of Togbe Apede, the 14th. So, happy birthday in advance to Togbe. And then there's also the Chief Imam, His Eminence Sheikh Osman Nuhu Shaributu, who celebrates his birthday on the 23rd of April. A happy birthday also to Dr. Samson Obedapia. And to my good friend Donald Achulogo. I haven't seen you in many years. And let me say good morning, good afternoon to Apostle Abraham Lamte. And let's see for you my ears. Well, a big thank you to my crew, led by Director Dion Hubert, my production team, led by Tijanios Badamasi, assisted by Rabina Frimpong and Latifa Adam, and also sound was by Emmanuel Ose. A big thank you to researcher Ruben. Thank you all very much for making time to join us on the Mother of All talk shows, live on Alaji and Alaji, also live on Radio Gold 90.5 FM, live on many affiliate stations across the country. A big thank you to let me start from my right. Solomon Owusu is a member of the Movement for Change. Ni Yaboana is a member of the National Democratic Congress, a financial analyst. And a big thank you as always to Engineer Kojojo Mbuafo number 2. Who is a leading member of the National Democratic Congress.
Hierarchy to be
yes.
defined.
Good morning to Engineer Kojojo Mbuafo number 1. Kwekuchu Mbuafo. Yes. Engineer Kwekuchu Mbuafo. Good morning to you. And of course, a big thank you to you, Nana Jantuah. Always love you.
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.